the day, and this lesson is about labels and why we don't need those and why they cause pain. And here's a personal story to accompany it to really drive home the meaning of this lesson and how exactly I learned it, because my lessons of the days come to show my stories and the things that happen to me in my life and in my day-to-day life. That could be, I could let go either one of two ways. Go one way where it's like, oh, poor me, or go the other way and be like, what am I learning from this, and empower myself to grow. So, labels, what are they? Labels could be anything from your name. That's the first label that we get. What do we call ourselves? What do we call this I that is me, or this I that is we? How do we separate ourselves from everybody else? Labels at work, like the boss, the manager. Labels in relationships, like that's my friend, that's my best friend, that's my husband, that's my girlfriend, that's my partner. Labels come in all forms, and even like this behind me is a fence. This on my right here is a shirt. In other languages, like camiseta, you know? I am outside. These labels that we have that define the things that we experience in life, that stop us from just experiencing them and the definitions of what it is, right? So, labels also come with a definition of what the thing is, right? So, Mona, after a while, you know, as I develop personality traits, I start linking them to that name, Mona. So Mona is kind, Mona is sweet, Mona is black, Mona is a girl, Mona is this, Mona is that, Mona is whatever society defines Mona to be. This fence, right? Something that blocks people from the other side from seeing what I'm doing. Something that I put around my yard, something that keeps my dogs in. Just things. This shirt, something that covers up my naked body. Naked body is another label. So regardless, these labels come with definitions, and the definitions that we attach to the labels allow us to have expectations of what something given such a label should be, behave, and act like. And they serve purpose sometimes, but like the Buddha says, and like a lot of other religions and spiritual paths, when you have expectations of how something's supposed to be, if that's not that, then you feel upset. And then if you have expectations of how things are supposed to be, and let's say they are that in the beginning, then you start attaching, okay, meaning to this label now. This label has meaning, like that is my girlfriend, that is my partner, that is my husband. They are supposed to act this way. That means that they are 100% committed to me. Oh no, but I'm poly. So that means that my girlfriend or my husband or my this or my that can be with whoever they want, and I can be with whoever I want, and I'm free to do this and that. But if things do not fall into this tight little box of expectations to fit the definition of the label that we give something, then it causes us pain. And that's where, like, the Buddha and a lot of other different religions and a lot of different other spiritual paths say that when we have expectations, when things fail to meet our expectations, it causes suffering for us. Because now we're disappointed. Now we're sad because it didn't live up to what we thought was the right way. And what is right or wrong, but just a perception. So let me break down how this lesson really hit home, because these are things that I already kind of knew in my head, and things that I've read in books, and things that I've read practicing and studying, like Buddhism. Things that I knew, right? So if I know this, how come it's taking real life to say, boop, 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 hammer that lesson in and say, this is what you need to focus on today. This is what you need to share with the world today. Well, it started about 2 weeks ago. I met somebody. This person I met, I liked, but I was willing to just be friends because that's really what I wanted. I just wanted a friend, and it was somebody that I allowed myself to go deep with, because for me, from my mom dying early on and from my dad choosing drugs and all these different things over me, I have these abandonment and attachment issues, which are just another label that I follow the definition, and I expect myself to act accordingly instead of trying to break those habits, which is something that this lesson really was like, ha, rattle that, break it. Because it's not true. It's just a lie that your ego is telling yourself based off of these limiting labels. Labels are limiting. So, met this person and we hit it off. We go to a retreat. First time I experienced a sweat lodge, make a medicine wheel. This person has a spiritual connection, is crying. We share a room when we sleep, and there's two beds, but the person comes into my bed and cuddles with me, and we just talk personally back and forth about the things that have happened in our lives. And then the next thing I know, we're hanging out again, and we're hanging out with another friend of mine. And then after that's over, or a friend of ours, and then after that's over, it's like, hey, I'm gonna come to your house and eat this food. Cool. You know what? You could spend the night. You've been drinking a little bit. Might as well, right? I'll sleep on the couch. You sleep here. No. Sleep with me, person says. So we develop this relationship based on cuddling, and we cuddle at my house, at their house, and it's good. And then they go to Phoenix and they say, hey, come down, meet my best friend, let's go out. And I'm like, the first night, no. Then the second night, it's more pushy text. Come on, just get in your car, don't think about it, it's gonna be fun. So I go, at a dance club, having fun, meet friend likes me. The next thing I know, we are making out. Person is flirting with other people after that. So I'm just like, I don't know what to expect. I don't have any expectations. There's no label on whatever this is, this definition of our actions and our behaviors towards each other that can develop. There's nothing about it. There's no label to put on it. So I'm okay. Everything's fine. Get to friend's house. They pass out. I go to sleep for a couple hours because I'm like, I'm going home. When I wake up, set my alarm, wake up. A couple hours later, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go. Kiss the forehead. Person wakes up, says, what? Why? Where are you going? Why are you going home? Stay here with me. Here, lay with me. Right? Relationship from there escalates from this thing that we're doing to now label of we're partners. We're together. And now we're together. And we're making out, and some things are happening. Leave from there. Next day, it's still that. Cuddling. Back to what it was before, but now a little bit more because there's this label attached to it. Right? This label of how it's supposed to be. So now I'm texting because I feel like, oh, when you are in a partnership with somebody, you communicate with them every day, so that way they know that you care about them, and you say the things that in your mind you might not say right away, because you don't want to be like, oh, you're so this or you're so that, or say these things that you see inside that person because you're waiting for the right moment to say the right thing. You don't want it to perceive like, oh, maybe I like this person more so than a friend, because now you're in a partnership, so you have that. So things are going like whatever, and in my mind I'm starting to think, because of these other labels I have on myself, attachment issues or attachment issues, abandonment issues, all these things that when you get into a partnership they should rear their ugly heads, because that's the definition of these things. They stop you from getting close to people. Oh, and now are you too attached to this person? Are you too close to this person? Or are they just gonna leave you? Blah 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 blah, all this shit. And I'm thinking, man, we just really moved too fast. We moved too fast into a label. So I'm thinking, I need to call this person and say, let's take a step back, like all the way back to when we first met. and maybe cuddle here and there because that's okay. But this label thing is messing with me. But in my mind now I'm having this battle because, you know, abandonment issues, not everybody's gonna abandon you. You don't have to do that. So I don't say anything. That same day I think all those things, I even text one of my friends and say like, man, I think that this thing was built off of a drunken night, not me being drunk, but them being drunk. And I just want to take a step back and let this thing blossom the way it should blossom, or it could blossom, you know, and see what really happens. But I didn't send that because I'm having these battles in my head of, that's just your abandonment issues. That is cookie cutter definition, right? So I don't say those things. Later on I get a call. This person, I don't know if it's thinking the same type of things that I was thinking, but decides to end the partnership, but says, hey, like, I really care about you as a person, and I need XYZ for me in this stage of my life, and I would love for us to continue to be in each other's lives as friends. Friends is another label. What does friendship mean? Friendship means not partnership. So I basically get broken up with, and that's another label. Like, when a relationship changes in a way, you know, when a best friend becomes not a best friend, oh, my best friend broke up with me, or we grew apart, right? Or whatever. So when somebody says that you're in a partnership with, that's your baby, and they say, hey, let's take a step back, let's not be that, let's still be in each other's lives though, let's get to know each other, let's grow separately, but let's still be in each other's lives and celebrate each other's wins and our growth. Now in my head I'm like, boof, abandonment, they abandoned you, right? This person's like, I'm not trying to abandon you, I hope you don't feel sad. And in all reality, the relationship, the partnership, whatever ship, didn't really last that long to begin with. There was no time to fall in love with one another. There was time to love each other's souls and to get to understand each other as people a little bit, but not even everything. Like, if we never saw each other, how we act mad. And that was another reason the partnership ended, was they're going through this yoga training and they don't want all the things that are coming up that they're dealing with emotionally for me to have to see, or for, if they're in a bad mood, for me to have to constantly deal with that. And I'm just thinking, hey, like, that's what relationships are for. They're for you to show your darkest sides and the other person to be there for you unconditionally and love you through that. And I'm just seeing all these excuses and these reasons why, and then another reason pops up that's like, every relationship that I've been in when I've been taking yoga trainings, somehow I have had to stop them to be there more so for my partner than anything else. And then that makes me think, oh man, that's just a limiting belief that you're putting on yourself. That's just something that happened in the past a couple times that you're allowing to project into your future. You're creating that. But then it's like, oh, well, I told you about these like abandonment and attachment type of issues, and I've been really vulnerable with you, and I let down every guard that I've ever had that was supposed to protect me from exactly this, and now you're saying that because of this you don't want to be. Like, is it me? Is it my issues that are causing you to feel uncomfortable or make you think that I need you? Because I've been working on them on my own before I even met you, type thing. And then now I'm like sad, knowing that just the same day I was thinking the same things. Maybe not, I wouldn't have put it in that way, but the same things that, man, this is going too fast. We put a label on this really too fast. Let's take a step back. Let's not have to abide by whatever definition that fits us into a label, which is just actually just a sticker on a box that we put ourselves in, right? Let's take that back. But that whole thought process of, I was thinking that earlier, went out of the door because now my ego's kicking in with poor me, abandonment issues, and I'm shrinking down. Right? So I'm sad. And I'm like, nah, we can't be friends. Delete from Facebook. Delete phone number. Delete text messages. Delete every single phone call that we ever had. So that way I can never contact you again. Or that person again. And what that showed me the next day when I woke up was, man, that label meant a lot to me. And I had a lot of expectations the moment we put a label on it. And because of that, I could have ruined something. So now I'm like freaking trying to figure out a way to contact the person and say, hey, like, I'm sorry for the way that I acted. And if you still want to be friends, which friends is just another label, if you still want to be in each other's lives, that's something that I really want to happen. And if not, it's okay. Like, all this world has to give that's good, I wish it upon you. And in fact, it's already written in the stars that it will happen for you. So I end it nicely if it has to end. But at the end of the day, it taught me, like, those labels, those expectations, that way that I felt that night, the crying, the belittling of myself, the why did I let the walls down around me, all of that was just a lie that my ego was feeding me based off of these labels that have developed in my life. And once I realized that, it was like liberation, freedom from them, freedom to be in this moment and realize that everything is okay, freedom to not be sad because something didn't go the way that I had wanted them to go, that I didn't really even have expectations on how it was supposed to go until the label came up. And it allowed me to try to have somebody amazing, and that's helped me grow spiritually in the short 2-3 weeks that I've known the person, to continue. If that person can get over the actions that I took the other day, which were really not that much, other than to say that I can't be your friend, I'm gonna need time, I can't do this, I can't do that, can't is another freaking box that we put ourselves in, because we can do whatever it is that we want to do. So whatever that you put your mind to. And the fact that I let go of that label made me realize, man, I wasn't even in love with this person yet, you know? And I'm just acting this way. Why? So what labels are you putting in your life, or on your relationships, or on your job, that's causing you extra stress? Like, now you're the boss, or you got a promotion. Now, in reality, you just have a little bit more responsibilities, but now you have so much pressure of what this is supposed to look like and what that's supposed to be. Man, get rid of the labels and just be whatever it is that that moment calls you to be in every moment. And you'll be fine, and you'll be free, and you won't cause yourself suffering that's self-made, based on how things are supposed to be in your mind, based off of the definitions that you give labels and how that affects you. Alright? So I hope that made sense, because that was something really powerful for me, because I was like, so poor me. But after that, I was good. After I really realized what it was, analyzed it, and was able to learn and stop saying, oh, why is this happening to me? And be like, what am I learning from this? How can I change this story into an empowering one? And now it is that. Peace. I don't know how to get off of this.